What's up, everybody? It's Clark here for the BOS Sports Blogcast. Celebrating as the Hawks are now on an 11-game winning streak and trending out of the play-in tournament in the Eastern Conference playoff standings. The Hawks are now tied for 7th place at 37-31 with the Miami Heat. As all of the Heat, Sixers, and Magic were out of play tonight, Heat currently hold the tiebreaker with one game head-to-head versus the Hawks and Heat remaining. The Heat hold the tiebreaker by one game. That game could potentially determine some things. We'll be breaking down later in the episode different scenarios if they end the season tied in the standings. For now, Jalen Johnson, another monstrous double-double tonight. 17 points, 11 rebounds, his 42nd double-double. Only a limited amount of players in the NBA had a double-double tonight. Highlights the consistency that Jalen Johnson has shown over the season. We'll get to that too later on this episode. This team has been mostly beating up on, to be frank, in the last week over this 11-game win streak. Non-playoff teams, but Monday they had a very impressive victory over Orlando Magic, 124-112 in the highly debated and contested Magic City Monday night. Of course, Luke Cornett, Al Horford, they were the faces of that being removed. And I was fortunate enough to get a ticket and go to the game. And there's a very strong presence of Hawks fans that felt very strongly they should have continued with that movement. And they let their opinions known throughout the night. So this team, if the Hawks were to remain tied with the Heat, division standings in different scenarios would be division record. The Hawks currently hold a lead over the Heat in division record, but are behind on the Magic in that. But that would be the first determiner. Conference record would be the second. Playoff eligible opponents record against them. Opposite conference, and then point differential, finally. And if they can get to that, of course, the Hawks lost the Heat just a few weeks ago by 31 points. They would certainly lose by that. So we're going to get to all these points and more. This is the BOS Sports Blogcast. Hawks are 8-6 in the 25 to 2026 season in conference play. The Heat are 7-7. Magic are 9-6. These are key important numbers to remember down the stretch. There are only 2 games left for the Hawks, one each versus the Magic and Heat within the division, as that could potentially play a role down the stretch. People say, oh, the division doesn't matter in the NBA, but it does with this new play-in tournament format. And if teams were to remain tied at the end of the season, and currently the Magic, of course, the Hawks just beat them Monday night, but they currently hold the advantage in that record. So the Hawks, they need to keep winning games, climb out of the play-in tournament. Of course, tied at 7th, they want to get to 6th, which currently were the Magic are. So between the Hornets at 35, 34 through the Magic at 38 and 30, we could see something wacky here down the stretch with different teams tied, multiple teams tied, different scenarios. It would be something very interesting to watch, look out for here in the remainder of the season. So the Raptors, they were as well trending towards that direction, but now on a 3-game winning streak, winning their last few games. So today be a little bit of Braves heavy episode. We'll be talking a lot about the Braves. Of course, opening day is just a week from tonight, with Yankees opening up. I forget their opponent, but then next day, of course, Mets, Phillies are both in action, division rivals, and I believe the Nationals as well. And only the Marlins and Braves are out of action until the 27th, opening day for Atlanta Braves, Friday, March 27th. So a lot of exciting things coming forward for Atlanta fans. Start of the Braves season. Hawks trending towards first round playoff contention here. Trending out of the play-in. Trending out, even if they don't get out of the play-in. Still feeling pretty confident of how they look both versus the Miami Heat, Orlando Magic. Hawks have looked very great this recent stretch. They would currently match up versus the Heat in the play-in tournament, and they just have to win one game at that point to get in, or a second game if they were to lose towards the 9th or 10th opponent. So 135 to 120 score tonight. Hawks over Mavericks, winning for a second time over that team in a week. Interesting schedule. They paired that team back-to-back. Certainly Hawks' favor. As the Mavericks, they hold their own draft pick, and certainly NBA teams are not inclined to quite try to win games as much when they hold their draft pick here late in the season. So having these two teams versus the Mavericks has been a blessing here for the Hawks, trying to climb out of that play-in tournament area. And stated in previous episodes, I'd like the Hawks to get that play-in experience, not to go too deep, try to stay healthy. Well, we've seen a different squad here since Jonathan Kuminga has come over those 3 games. I've noted in recent BOS Sports blogcast how his athletic attack and having multiple athletic wings who can handle and penetrate, such as Kuminga and Jalen Johnson can do on the floor at the same time. Dyson, too. He's really blossomed into a fantastic ball handler and passer and slasher. So having that trio on the court at the same time is quite a formidable offense, especially having Onyeka Okongwu. Quinn Snyder's 5-out motion offense sets sitting out there beyond their arc. He's a deadly threat there from three-point land, and as many have noted, interesting to see when teams actually start guarding him harder. As Magic were certainly seem to be a little bit off key on that when I saw him Monday. Onyeka had a solid night again tonight. We'll get to that in just a minute. So to recap this game really quick, the Mavericks, they cut it to 25-23 with a couple minutes left in the first quarter, and they just could not keep up. It never got close again since that score. Very impressive win for the Hawks. They continue to be up on teams. They hold their own draft pick, as previously mentioned. As stated in last episode, we have huge games coming up next week. Of course, with the Celtics twice and the Pistons in a week's time. We're really coming with a doubleheader here this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Rockets. They're a bona fide playoff team in the Western Conference, a packed Western Conference. Certainly, I'd rate the Western Conference as deeper than the East, even with their troubles. And as well, Warriors. And reports are Steph Curry could potentially be coming back for that game. As well as we've already seen Kristaps Porzingis come back and be stellar for the Warriors. Whoa! Oh no, KP's coming back. Quinn Snyder, he did state in recent interviews about Jonathan Kuminga that there might be adjustment period him coming back. So that's a hopeful sign, as he's been very solid the last couple games versus the Magic and tonight. The first couple games back since he's been back on the questionable injured list there for the Hawks. He's looked very solid, but I think with Quinn's remarks, we still have a lot more to be excited about from him. So, next week, of course, aforementioned Celtics twice, Pistons once. 2 teams I would rate as most difficult for the Hawks to face in the Eastern Conference playoffs. I think you're looking at the Cavs. They certainly retooled nicely at the deadline, but still not quite scared of them. Knicks, they seem to peak too early again, just like last year, and just not very confident again. Of course, they won the NBA Cup. Huge achievement for them. And then you have the rest of the field. Raptors, they've really fallen off. Not sure what's going on with them. Seems like some of their guys that should be trending upwards are trending downwards. So, back here to Hawks Mavericks tonight. We, of course, have 3 key stats, whether or not basketball team wins the game. That, of course, is field goal percentage, rebounding, and turnovers. And the Hawks, not quite a clean sweep. 2 out of 3. 42, 43 rebounds. The Hawks are out-rebounded by 1, surprisingly. Daniel Gafford, he must have cleaned up in there tonight. So, Hawks 53.9%, Mavericks 48.8%. Hawks were a little bit loose on defense tonight, but when you can score at will like that, why not take a little bit of a night off on defense? Turnovers, 11 Hawks, Mavericks 18. Hawks continue playing a very clean brand of basketball, even with their arguably very complex offensive schemes they run. Quinn Snyder, he's a schemer there. So, CJ McCollum, nice night tonight. 24 points, 9 for 14 from field. He had a block tonight. Whoa. Shaquille Alexander-Walker, he had that highlight dunk over Cooper Flagg. 22 points tonight. Also had a block. Dyson Daniels, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. 9 for 13 from field. Highly efficient. Jalen Johnson, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. 1 assist shy of a triple-double. 2 steals as well. Jonathan Kuminga, 16 points, 5 rebounds. Stellar, very efficient from field tonight. 7 for 11. Onyeka Nkagu, he had a very solid first half, but wound up with 12 points, 9 rebounds. Reza Shea, 16 points, 16 minutes, 5 points, 6 rebounds. They've been putting him there on the offensive boards. Buddy Hield, he had some minutes today, no shots. Caleb Houston as well. He got up a 3-pointer there. So Daniel Gafford, 24 points, to not quite clean up in the paint so much, 8 rebounds. Cooper Flagg, solid night tonight, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I believe Chris Middleton, he caught the worst of that. The highlight, Jonathan Kuminga, 3/4 shot there at the end of the third quarter. Oh, you had 2 memes made out of that, 2 gifs. I'm certainly going to make gifs out of that. You had Jonathan Kuminga holding his head in disbelief, and then on the floor angle, after Jock Landale landed and stuff, you had Chris Middleton there, and he just could not this stuff. Surely been a long season from him, and coming back from injuries and stuff, coming over from the Wizards, all those things, and just to see a pass go in from 3/4 court for a 3-point shot, you have to feel for him. So I guess we got to get to those before we go on to NBA top performers and then move on to the Braves. So test. All right, this is some footage from Monday, Magic City Monday. I had the genius idea of filming in 9x16. I thought I'd be turning these into reels. Anyways, aforementioned many fans voiced displeasure. T.I. had concert at halftime. Fans just voiced displeasure over the Magic City Monday being removed, that is. Here, T.I. You got the Hawks dancers there. More T.I. All right, here we go. We got a couple plays. Onyeka Nkagu from the wing. No good. Again? Nope. I think that's Jalen Suggs down there. He got his hair cut. Well documented NBA. He's looking sharp now. CJ McCollum. Dyson Daniels. In the lane. No good. Like to see that Dyson floater start to drop. He's certainly committed to it. I hope it starts dropping for him. I think that was Reza Shea down there. Jalen Johnson, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Bang! 3-point shot. All right, didn't get so much footage from Monday night. Just chilling out there at the game. There's a challenge there with the guy, the referee there. All right, here we go. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, right over Cooper Flagg. Highlight reel dunk. Went blank on me. Here's the cat. All right, Jonathan Kuminga, 3/4 court shot. Ooh. Thank goodness Jock Landale didn't touch that. We got two memes out of this. We got Jonathan Kuminga surprised, arguably three. Jalen Johnson's reaction there on the bench. Oh my goodness. And my favorite angle is coming up just some second here as we get another angle showing Jock Landale. He didn't touch that. Cat's going crazy over this call. And here we go. My favorite part, Chris Middleton. Whew. He says, oh, not this stuff. Tough year for Chris Middleton. So, aforementioned, not everyone got a double-double tonight in NBA. Let's see, we got 8 players with a double-double. Highlighting the consistency of Jalen Johnson getting one tonight. Nikola Jokic, he nearly got another triple-double tonight. 29, 14, and 9 assists. Of course, Jalen Johnson, Jokic there, and top 1-2 there with Josh Giddey is in the mix there. Top triple-double leaders in NBA. Of course, Jokic will finish with first. Got off to an early lead. Jason Tatum, he's come back for the Celtics. Another solid night tonight. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Danny Avdija for Portland. Huge 32-point night, double-double, 11 rebounds. Rudy Gobert, 21 points, 12 rebounds. DeJounte Murray, good to see him back there for the Pelicans. Hopefully they lost versus the Clippers, but see here versus he had a nice double-double, 17 points, 11 assists. Jamal Murray as well on the double-double list. Nearly had triple-double as well with 8 rebounds. So, Phillies Braves today, a lot of good and some negative as well from today's day. As the Braves scratched out a 3-2 win versus the Phillies in a tight game. We'll take the W any way we can get it. We need the Braves to keep this energy going as they've got some hurdles to get over. So a rally in the 8th inning started off of former Braves Tucker Davidson, legend from 2021 Braves World Championship team. Now on the Phillies, a non-roster invite. Ah, crap. I missed that. Pelican score. Go by. I have to catch it next time. All right. So Davidson struggling for the Phillies. He could be DFA'd. Potentially wind his way up on the Braves. The Braves have too many major league pitchers as it stands. And unless there's an injury, to DFA someone, get Didier Fuentes on the roster. I think there's a better plan going forward, though, keeping Fuentes' inning count down. It's here in mind. You never know what the wacky Braves front office will do. Sometimes they do confusing things, but... Uh-oh. I think we're getting an error message here with the ticker. I guess I'll try to restart it. This is the BOS Sports Braves podcast. It's starting again. Spoiled again by technology. Didier Fuentes for the Atlanta Braves has been absolutely outstanding in his 3 appearances so far this spring. The Braves are absolutely want to get him in the mix in the major league situation some way or another here early in the season, as they have 6 games versus the Phillies in April. And there's a lot of hot topic and debate whether or not he should be on the opening day roster. And I think the way the Braves roster, major league contracts stack up, it'd be best to bring him on in a couple weeks into the season, as if he would to be on the opening day roster, with current reports, injuries, it'd have to be pitcher designated for assignment. Of course, Ian Hamilton, he's already taken a break this spring with undisclosed discomfort from the Braves. And Mark Bowman has stated in his opinions that he might be too far behind and potential to miss the Braves opening day roster. Although we still haven't seen we haven't seen any kind of announcement from the Braves about any kind of major injury from Ian Hamilton. So for the Braves to fit Didier Fuentes on the Major League roster with all the Major League contracts they have, they would have to choose between Jose Suarez and Ian Hamilton there to potentially DFA to get Didier Fuentes there on the opening day roster. Now, there is potential still to place Ian Hamilton on the injured list. That's something that we'll track here for us spring training. If the Braves were to release him for opening day, they would only owe a prorated portion of his salary for the 2026 season. If you were to open the season on the opening day roster, then he would, on the IL. If Ian Hamilton were to open the season on the IL, he would be owed his full amount of the season. So it's it's not a lot of money for the Braves, being between a prorated amount of 1,045 days, that is, if cut between opening day, before opening day, and paying the full $1 million, as they pretty much have stacked up in their plans right now with all the Major League contracts they have assembled, and their prospects pushing the door between J.R. Ritchie and Didier Fuentes. They're going to have to DFA someone at some point. That might mean a Jose Suarez contract, $900K guaranteed. Ian Hamilton's just over $1 million. And really, to get Didier Fuentes on this opening day roster, makes most sense to cut one of those two. And to me, that does not seem like quite a solid plan. You already have money committed to the two, so why not get some production out of them as well? Keep down Didier Fuentes' innings for 2026, as he only pitched 70 innings in 2025. Didier Fuentes did between different levels, minor leagues, Rome, Columbus, and Gwinnett, as well. 13 innings with the Braves. He was shut down in August with shoulder inflammation. So really, the Braves are going to want to limit his innings. They're not going to push him much, if any, over 150. And with the Braves team that has playoff hopes, talk about playoffs, and some fans, they'll go, playoffs? Talk about playoffs? So, a lot to think about, a lot to consider here for the Braves. We'll get to more about Didier Fuentes later. I think the path for Didier Fuentes is to bring him in there before the first or second Phillies series there. That way he can get some rest, a little bit of time off if wanted by the Braves, and still line up there and get starts there in AAA. The Gwinnett season starts at the end of March. He can still get reps in there, the minor leagues, before coming in, pitching what could be potentially very crucial 6 games versus the Phillies. We saw him today versus the Phillies, mow him down. He looked very good. So, back here to Phillies Braves, they captured the 8th inning lead. Andrew Painter, he was on a heater there. Top prospect for the Phillies coming into last year. Top pitching prospect for the Phillies. And they have a shortstop, blanking on his name right now, jumped in the standings there. Potential for him to make impact there for a Major League roster later on the season. And Andrew Painter could potentially make impact for the Phillies coming as a starter for them on their opening day roster. Zach Wheeler, he's been reported to have thrown off a mound, but we haven't heard much progress updates since then. So All right, back to this game really quick. Braves regulars really struggled today. Aforementioned Andrew Painter, he was on a heater. Mauricio Dubon, he had a hit. Drake Baldwin, no hits. Matt Olson, no hits. Austin Riley, no hits. Luke Waddell, he had a double. Finally broke up Andrew Painter's no-hitter. Ozzy Albies, no hits. Tom Smith, no hits. Michael Harris, he had a hit. Ben Gamble, hit. Oh, excuse me. Luke Waddell, no. Luke Williams is the one who broke up the no-hitter off Andrew Painter. So Braves pitching, Martin Perez. He will likely be in the mix for the Braves at some point this season. They'll have to rest and give one of the rotation members rest just based on their health at some point. Somebody's going to go on the IL between the rotation, the starters. They're going to need innings to be eaten. And there is Martin Perez in the minor leagues. He does not have to be selected to the major league roster. The Braves can keep him there. AAA out of opening day, having a minor league contract there. So he allowed 6 hits today, 1 run, a walk, and a strikeout. So solid innings, 8 by Martin Perez. Of course, he had that jam there in the first inning. Jacob Kroger got him out of the jam, and he resumed action and looked fairly solid there for the Braves. So option there for the Braves. Hopefully everyone in the rotation stays healthy until mid to late May or June. In that case, you can call up a J.R. Ritchie. I think that's about his timeline for the Braves. So Didier Fuentes, 4 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 8 strikeouts. Absolutely impressive. I mean, you look at his ERA numbers, minor league and major league last year, you say, no way he'll be good. But his stuff tells a different story. And his spring training performance is absolutely as well. Shared some graphics online from the MLB Cruncher. I have a new app that crunches some data analytics for baseball. I'm posting about that. I got to make some videos soon about that. Share them here in the blogcast. But coming later on, I got MLB, NBA Cruncher. You can type in stuff and easily look up stats. NBA is a little bit more basic, as baseball gives us this big StatCast baseball savant thing that measures a whole bunch. And graphic generators, try to keep it condensed a little bit. I like the total movement. Induced movement is a great stat for metrics, for pitcher metrics, if you want to improve pitching. But you look at it from a batter's perspective, the total movement is better. So back to here, Andrew Painter throws a 6-pitch mix, including fastball, slider, sweeper, changeup, curveball, and sinker. Fastball in the mid to upper 90s. Not too far distant from Pablo Lopez, who also having the sinker. He sees on average 3 inches total vertical break, 7 inches horizontal break, more than his 4-seam fastball. 5% higher spin rate than Andrew Painter's 4-seam fastball. So a little bit of differences there between the two as well. Andrew Painter, he tunnels the 2 pitches as well, between the sinker and the fastball, well, making it tough for the hitters to pick up on the spin direction of the pitches. Last outing versus the Orioles was a bit rough, allowing 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 2/3 innings. But versus Braves, Yankees, and Blue Jays, spring Painter has had all scoreless outings versus those teams. 118 innings in the minors last season with a gaudy 5.26 ERA. The Phillies look to mostly have a solid 5-man rotation, although it's looking likely like Zach Mueller start the season on the IL. We haven't heard much about him coming back solidly. I'd expect him to at least have some kind of rehab stint there early in April, as really an ideal timeline would be like for us with Didier Fuentes, is save him for the best moments later on the season, ideally an October run. He's Painter, Wheeler's already been reported to have been throwing off a mound, so that's the first step, and no reports of major injuries since then or anything. He's still on timeline for them. All right. This has been a very productive episode of BOS Sports Blogcast. Aforementioned, next week, opening day, baseball, week from now, Yankees versus somebody. And Thursday, full slate of games, starting around the 1 o'clock hour. Friday, March 27th, Braves Open versus Royals. So be sure to tune in to post on X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Be sure to stream previous episodes of BOS Sports Blogcast. Stream Bar of Soap Music, Tangible Jazz Dreams, my favorite platform. I'll see you again soon with MLB full season preview BOS Sports Blogcast next week.